Welcome to the Queen City Music Podcast, the podcast devoted to the local music scene in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, here's your host, Matthew Ablan.
Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of the Queen City Music Podcast. This month, I'm fortunate to speak with the talented ReeCee. Most folks might know her by the handle ReeCee Raps, but there's so much more to ReeCee than just her skills on the mic. Hey, ReeCee, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
I'm appreciative. You know, this is our second recording, just so you, if you're listening, you know, ReeCee came out a while ago. She did the recording, and then when I went to do some editing, there was something happening in the recording. It just got a little crazy and didn't sound good, so I got to have her sounding good. So
yeah, it was God's plan, though. I felt like it was meant to happen.
There we go. All right, so ReeCee, fill us in. Are you originally from the Charlotte area?
No, originally, actually, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, but I've lived in basically every time zone except for Mountain Time.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I'm from Pennsylvania. When I was about in middle school, we moved to California for a little bit. And then I went to high school in St. Louis, and then I moved to Kansas City against my will. Yeah. I lived in Kansas City for 6 years, and then I moved to Charlotte last year.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
So Pennsylvania to California to Missouri.
Right.
To Charlotte.
Right.
That's some road trip.
Yeah, all over. So went from one coast to the next, but it definitely, I like that I did all that, because if I was just talking to somebody about it the other day, like if I lived in Pittsburgh, I used to imagine, like as a kid, you always imagine, like, you know, being rich, having a mansion somewhere. But my mansion was on the outskirts of Pennsylvania. In my head, it was like, and I forget the place, but it was like where all the rich people lived, like the politicians that Kerry dude with the Hines. That's where he lived and everything like that. That ran for president. That Kerry.
John Kerry.
John Kerry,
his wife, Teresa Hines.
Right. So that's where they lived. I'm like, I'm going to have this mansion out here on the outskirts of Pittsburgh and stuff like that. But like, your parents are from there. You just imagine your kids being raised there. You it's just a hometown city. Most people that live there are from there.
Sure.
So, but if I didn't get ripped from that mindset or ripped from that city at a young age, I probably wouldn't be as fearless to move anywhere. Like, I'll move anywhere at this point, even outside the country.
You know, I moved from New York to Ohio and then wound up in Charlotte and checked out other parts of the country to live in. But most folks, I think the figure is like, 75% of people live and die within 50 miles of where they were born. They don't, a lot of people don't move. They stay where they are.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, hats off to you for checking out a lot of different places, because
I had no choice.
I
was a kid, you know, it was sad. You know, we cried with my best friend when I was leaving, but like, that's one of the best things that could have happened, because like, I'm just like, really, I would have been one of those hometown people. I'm telling you, and dealing with the cold, man, I love Charlotte, because it's okay. Like, it's a little chilly. I had to get my jacket today, you know.
This is nothing.
But it's nothing
compared to Pennsylvania?
Right, exactly. Like, it was snowing in Kansas the other day. It was snowing on Halloween and all that. So, yeah, I'm good on the snow. And
I came south to get away from that stuff.
Right. They're like, oh, so where are you from? Like, you don't like the cold? Like, we don't gotta be from somewhere warm to not like the cold.
That's true. There's plenty of people up north who don't like the cold, but they just live there.
They just deal with it, but I'm not dealing with it. I'm telling you that.
So what brought you to Charlotte? How you were
Funny
going around
story.
moving? What happened?
So it was actually, I went to Kansas City when I was 17, my senior year. I lived with my parents, you know, like it was during the recession. My dad's company, half the company got laid off. So I went against my will, and I had just started working for a Quick Trip. Okay. So that was my first job. You know, I was like applying for places. The day I turned 16, I put in like 10 job applications.
Just a teenager, I'm going to work.
Like, seriously, because I was like, my parents, they always took care of me, but I'm a little like, they couldn't afford like
what you want,
the luxurious stuff that I wanted as a kid. So
I got that, because I did that as a kid too. I worked. I was like, well, we can't afford this. I got to go to work.
Right, exactly. So, and then I'm the youngest of like 4 siblings. So I mean, I feel like my parents, they had to keep trying until they achieved perfection. So
and they got it. They got
there's
it.
Like 5 of us, and if they just got it right on the first try and it was just me, I would have had everything. Like, and I wouldn't have been the person I am today because I'm a hard worker. So I started working when I was 16. I just started working in St. Louis, you know, and then we could have moved anywhere at this point in the country. He just happened to find a job in Kansas City. My dad's a computer programmer. Okay. And so luckily there's Quick Trips in Kansas City. So I got to transfer my job. And I was like so Quick Trip. Like the way that they get a certain type of employee there. They get like, it's kind of like a cult, like for real.
I'm kind of a fan. I like Quick Trip. I mean, they got everything there. The place is always clean, and the people working there are really nice all the time.
They've been plotting. They was plotting on Charlotte before they came here. You know, they got you guys. And I was a part of Quick Trip before this division was here. So in Charlotte. So I started working there in 2010. I think the division came here like 2013 or so. So, and also the company like doubled. But I was so about Quick Trip, tell everybody, it's such a great job. But they are like for that level. I
think they're a good company.
For that level, it is a great job. Like, but here's how they get you. Here's the kicker. They get bright.
Look at you giving secrets away.
Individuals. Right, seriously. They're going to sue me now after this interview. Like, no, they get bright individuals like 16-year-old me and other people that have the potential to do anything in the whole world. Right. Then they get them where they haven't experienced anything else. And then they're like, yo, you could make 6 figures if you get to the top. And Quick Trip, you could be a store manager, and store managers making like 6 figures. And you're like, well, that sounds kind of good. You know, they get you and you have this potential to do anything in the world, but then they give you good benefits. Your whole family gets free insurance. You get tuition reimbursement. You get everything made. Like after 5-10 years, you know, seniority is trumping everything. You get the vacation days, you know, you could call in easily. They give you a set. So like they get all these people with a lot of potential and they might just become 4-lifers is what they call them. Like, to where they just do that for life when they're really bright individuals that could do anything.
You know what? That's what the military does. I mean, that's why they get young people to come into the military because, I mean, and it's not a bad thing. It's not knocking the military or a business. I mean, you mold people young, you know, you're going to school, you go to school, we teach kids at a certain age, this is the way you behave, this is the way you do this is the way you do this. And then you come out and you're, I mean, not the Quick Trip's doing this, but I mean, you're more productive members of society. And the military takes people younger because they can mold them into the military way. They're not going to take somebody who's in their 40s and 50s who's already developed the way that they do stuff, you know? So.
And thinking there's some sort of importance or something like that. So yeah, they get a lot of bright people, and they were really, or especially when I started, they were real picky about who they brought in. But then it got to the point where they doubled the amount of stores they had, and they had to just, then we're like, y'all just hiring anybody now. But that's besides the point. I kind of segue a little bit, but so I worked for Quick Trip. I'm all about Quick Trip at this point. That's basically is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm all like a robot, like a Quick Trip robot, advertising free ads. Like, yo, it's great. My job's better than yours. Saying it to my family members and stuff like that. Like, so they had this new division, and I'm all like, I wanted to be a clerk trainer. That was like my goal. You know, I was a
moving
clerk. Wanted to be a clerk trainer. Because you know, I feel like I was passionate about that. You know, I could get these clerks to be like because I was a great employee. I used to be running around that store sweating. Like, it used to be a workout. Like, my stores used to be like great.
But that's not them. That's you. You got a good work ethic.
Right. And then working like crazy, but really you just slaving at that point, you know? So it's like, it's not really that good to I'm so great at
That's why they get you young. That's why they get you young.
So I wanted to be a clerk trainer, and people are moving to this new division like Charlotte, going from clerks to managers within a year. Now, this is like something that takes 10 years in this Kansas City division, something that takes a long time in other divisions. But people are moving there and getting promoted like hotcakes. I'm like, yo, family. My dad, basically the reason why he was getting like laid off and stuff is because he'd been doing computer science for so long. So he had to get more updated in his languages, you know, as the field changes. So he's getting on the job knowledge to where he's updated. He's learning more languages. So I'm like, you got your pick now. So we in Kansas City, we just didn't like, Kansas City's like Pittsburgh in a way to me. It has a lot of similarities, but if you're not from there, it's like, okay, what am I here for? You know what I mean? Right. But plus you're landlocked too. Like, you're in the middle of the whole country. Like, so which can be good, but
I want some water.
Right, seriously.
Gotta be by some kind of
and I don't want to go to Lake of the Ozarks or nothing like that. I want to go to actual beach.
There you go.
So I'm like, and that was a part of my art. I'm very persuasive. So to my family, I'm like, all right, Mom, you love the beach. We're sitting here landlocked. It's getting cold in the winter here. We didn't really want to come here. Yo, let's throw Kansas City away and let's move to Charlotte. I'm like, we moved to Charlotte. It's going to be warmer. We're closer to Pittsburgh, which is closer to home. You could visit your mom. You could do stuff like that. And then I'll get promoted quicker, right? It's going to be a win-win-win. So family's like, bet, yo, let's do it.
Yeah, okay, so, you sold them.
Right.
Like,
my dad started looking for jobs out there and stuff like that, And then he found a job. Well, first his job was like, we can't leave. You can't leave yet. You stay another year. This is probably in 2013. And then he was like, you stay another year, I'll pay you extra $20,000, just so I can get ready for you to go. Right. So they stayed another year, but they decided this is the move, but we're staying another year. But within that time, I met my ex.
Okay.
I moved out the house. I was like 19, 20, about to be like 20. I moved out. And when that year was up, my parents still moved to Charlotte and I stayed behind.
You're like, after I decided to, I got them to move and I stayed here.
Right. My parents were not happy about that.
And it's for a guy.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Isn't that always the story? It's a girl, it's a guy,
Yeah.
It's never I had to move for my cat or my dog.
Right. Seriously.
All right, so you come down to you come.
My parents came to Charlotte in 2015, and then I live never would I imagine I live in Kansas City with no family. And the Kansas City, the place I did not want to be at all, and I'm living there with no family for my ex. So then that relationship, after 4 years of being with him, I left that relationship. It became abusive and everything like that. So I feel like I kind of needed that experience. So to kind of I learned a lot from that experience. Right. I mean, I wouldn't say, don't get me wrong, don't go through, avoid that if you could avoid that, which you can by looking at the warning signs. But for me, I really hadn't went through a whole lot. So that definitely, I learned a lot by not being out there with no family and going through that. So it happened the way it was supposed to happen. But when I left all my stuff, all my belongings. And just one day, I woke up I really hated my life. And I felt like I lived in a bubble. Literally, I used to imagine, you ever see the Simpsons movie where they had that dome over Springfield? Yeah. Right, that's how I imagined Kansas City. I used to go outside. I used to be like, I used to just go to work and come home and want to do stuff my ex never wanted to do what I want to do, and I couldn't do nothing on my own. It was just I was just living life for other stuff. I was making a lot of money. I was making six figures. I actually left Quick Trip. I forgot out that part. I ended up leaving Quick Trip.
Oh, wow.
And start selling insurance. And when I was 22, Medicare insurance. So I was making six figures. I made just as much as my dad the first full year, and he's a computer programmer. Wow. So it was so I was making the money, at that point, but I still was unfulfilled, and I realized money didn't really matter. So I left everything. I was like, I don't care. I'll leave my job. I'll leave. I don't care. I'll find another.
That's really brave.
Yeah. So I'll leave everything. I took my dog. I took my little dog. Everything but tails is what I left. And I had a couple pairs of pants. I didn't know where I was going. My family didn't really know what I was going through, but that's the first my mom's first person I called. I got on the road, and she's like, for some reason she thought I would never, Charlotte's the last place I would come.
But I would have sold them.
Right. It was, so she just was like, where are you going to go? You going to go to Pennsylvania? I'm like, no, I'm not moving back to Pittsburgh. I don't think ever, sorry, no offense to Pittsburgh, but I don't think I'm ever going to move back there. So
I don't want to be where I've been.
Right, seriously. So I was like, Charlotte sound pretty dope. Y'all love it out there. So I drove to Charlotte, and I just got back on. I just rebought my house and stuff. Luckily, I did have some money saved. I had a lot of money saved. That's how much well, well, a lot of money for me. I probably had like $30,000 just in my account. I had $50,000, but I didn't want my ex like spending all my money.
Right.
So I was paying off student loans. I paid off like $13,000 in student loans.
Oh,
Dumb
man,
stuff
that's
like
great.
that.
That's
like
great.
paid off my car for it to break down. I mean, student loans, you could like defer those forever, right?
You could, but the smart thing is
Right.
to pay them off, because now then you don't pay all that extra interest. People think,
Right.
oh, well, I'll just do this over the long haul, and I'll be transparent. I'm knocking mine out right now. I mean, and I hopefully
It's a
have them out
long
soon.
haul.
If you've been paying them a long time, then you get caught in that trap where you're like making the payment.
Just to
And
make
you
the
just
payment.
minimum payment, and you don't realize that you're paying all this interest on this, and all of a sudden one day you wake up and you look and you go, nothing's changed. The number seems to be the same, and unless you put the
You're right.
the pedal down, you're not going to get those paid off anytime soon.
That's why I did it though.
Yeah,
That's why I
that
did
was
it, because I was
smart.
seeing like nothing was like changing. I had like 20,000, and I only have an associate's degree. It's like college is a whole nother thing that it's not for everybody. I mean, I'm great at school. I just kind of went because I just wanted to prove that I could do it, and
Right.
and it just I was going for the wrong reasons. I was going for computer science just because you can make six figures, but look, hey, I made six figures
Yeah.
I could have made that with a high school diploma and then having an insurance
Sure.
license because I did it with insurance. You
Yeah.
can make six figures in anything if you're the best at it. It's
Right.
how I look at it. So I messed up a lot of my life, like looking at stats, looking at averages, looking at stuff, like not following my heart. And like,
Right.
I used to want to be an actress, different stuff, but they only make 20,000 a year on average. And it's like, you're not average though. That's what you got to realize.
But what's the, you got to make yourself happy. I mean, money's a wonderful thing, but money makes life a lot easier. It doesn't bring happiness.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people think it's going to make you happy. There's plenty of people who have money who are not happy
Right.
people.
One less problem. It's just that, no, you probably have different problems. You have different problems.
yeah.
Not less
That's
problems,
right. It
but
brings a whole
different
set of
problems.
different problems.
Like, seriously. So, but it's just like your problem isn't paying your bills. That's it.
Exactly.
And you can travel, but it's like, what's it all for if you're not really, I wasn't even traveling a lot. I was just working. I went to Hawaii with my job, but besides like that, I wasn't even spending my money how I really wanted to spend it. I would just watch it in the bank and just work.
Right.
It was just weird.
So hold on, let's circle back around for a second.
Right.
All right, so you did all this, and now you're leaving KC, Kansas City, right? Left everything behind, and you come down to Charlotte, start anew. So you're
Right.
changing everything up.
Right.
So you get to Charlotte. Are you doing music before you get to Charlotte, or are you
No.
doing music?
No. So my music history starts like this. So it was
Okay.
in Kansas City,
Yeah.
or even in college. Though I went off to school, I would started maybe prom. I freestyle. I think it was just off the top of the head, freestyle, goofy stuff like that. So I started doing that. I remember telling everybody to quiet down in the freestyle in the room or we gonna get kicked out or something like that. So like stuff like that. And then it went in college, I would just like freestyle,
Okay.
do little freestyle rap battles and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, if I can freestyle, then I probably can write too. And I had always been a writer. I've always been a writer just as a kid. I wrote plays. I wrote a little screenwriter. I used to be in the gifted program for the smart kids. They used to take us to a different school and
Right.
we do stuff. So we were recording little movies and giving out fake Oscars, and I was writing my whole life.
So wait a second. You got into the rapping thing just freestyling? You weren't even trying and messing around with it before?
Yeah.
You weren't working at it? Just almost kind of just came naturally to you?
Yeah. And I think a part of that is because my mom raps.
Okay.
So my mom raps, and she was like a rapper in the 80s, and there's like she got
Sweet.
her own little story, like her little stuff that she do, but she always goofy freestyling or make a joke song about something. So that was a experience I had with anybody in my family, right? Because no one in my family really does music, but my mom writes all the time.
Right.
So I feel like it's in my blood in a way. I do believe in DNA. I believe in skills being passed down, and I believe that her way with words was passed down through me. But it's definitely different. We're different because we have different influences, you know. So I have a more So her raps are a little more, I don't want to call them elementary, but they a little, mine are different.
But she came up in a different time. She came at when it was.
I was walking down the street late at night. Someone tried to pick a fight, like stuff like that.
But those are the groundbreakers back then.
Right.
So I mean,
respect it.
Yeah, it's got to come out simple. I mean, you're not going to have jazz without basic blues, and you're not going to have all these forms of music that develop from one another.
And lyrical rappers without the ABC rappers. So that was a part of it. So when freestyling and stuff, it did come naturally to me as I started doing that. But actually writing, I kind of transitioned from freestyling to writing, because freestyle is like a practice. You got to keep doing it. Anybody can freestyle. You don't got to know how to rap to freestyle. Anybody can do it. And in my opinion, if you practice it.
Right.
There's people that can freestyle but can't write a song for nothing and can't rap for nothing, but they can rhyme words and think of stuff off the top, because it's a skill that you acquire if you keep doing it. You just got to kind of say stuff and just let it come off your head. You could probably freestyle.
I'm trying to teach my kids at school how to rap. So but they're starting with rhythm first and then they're adding the words.
You're teaching them.
I'm teaching them, and I'm not a rapper by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, so I mean, anybody knows how to rhyme. It goes back to nursery books, Dr. Seuss could be a rapper if he wanted to be. Like,
that's very true. Words have rhythm.
Right, exactly. And words are powerful, especially when you put them in rhyme. That's really on a whole another level, of overstanding.
Yeah.
That's why they say in the TV shows, when it comes to like witches and stuff, they always have their spells in rhyme, because the Egyptians used to call it words of power. When you rhyme words, it makes them more powerful. That's why it's important to look at what you're writing, because that's why when they're pushing this rap music that's real negative, the whole environment around in the 80s and everything, when they're putting that out, the whole environment changes and the whole mindset changes of the people. Music is very powerful in that word, because it goes back to these are rhyming words, and you can write out your life literally. So be careful about what you put into your rap. So, but when I started out, it wasn't that deep for me. So it was more like, I'm 19. I'm like, okay, I started rapping over popular beats at the time, and I would just record in front of my, I had the Apple laptop, the MacBook, right? I love my little MacBook. So I used to just record in front of the MacBook and put it on YouTube. So I started my YouTube channel. Like, if you go to my channel, you'll see that ReeCee World, you'll see all the older raps that I put out. So then maybe 3 months after I was doing my YouTube channel, 3 to 6 months, I had met my ex in that same time frame. Okay. And then he was a rapper too. So he's like, if I wanted a rapper, it was more of a hobby for me though. So it wasn't like I'm a rapper. It's like, I kind of do this on the side, it's just a little hobby. I make raps. I'm not a rapper. So he was like, I don't want a rapper girlfriend. If you want to, what's the point of putting up videos on YouTube and stuff? I was gaining a little momentum at that point. Right. And he just like discouraged me from it. It was like, basically I had to choose him or the raps and the music. And because it was just a hobby to me, and I thought this was my husband and I was in love, I had chose him over the raps. And so over that 4-year relationship span, so from when I was 19 until about to be 24, I had wrote maybe 2 songs. I had wrote some other stuff and recorded, but then he shot them down, and so I forgot it to this day. So it's like he'll tell me no, that he don't like that, and I think it's not good. And so I just really was discouraged from doing it. And so anybody who's, especially if you're young, if you're doing anything creative, put that comes before anything in your life, because that's the time where you gotta cultivate that skill and that God-given talent you were given. That's not for anybody to depict. Nobody should ever make you choose between what any hobby or what you love to do, as long as you're not harming anybody. So, and the ultimate judge is you of your stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. You can't let somebody tell you, oh, that's not good. Well, why isn't it good? Right. What makes you tell me, my it's stuff art. Isn't good? Yeah. It's art, right? So that's another thing. Yeah. If I liked it, I should have just I liked it. That's why I wrote it. So and it was really some stuff that I wrote a song about suicide prevention he didn't like. It's just like different stuff that really could have probably helped people. Some deep stuff. Yeah. And so I probably wrote maybe 3 songs over that course. I never really, I recorded them in front of my laptop, never really got in the studio. So when I left that relationship, and I thought, and maybe the last 2 years of relationship, I didn't write anything. So those 3 songs were probably in the first 2 years.
Right.
Last 2 years, I'm like, and I used to try to write and try, and fail. In my opinion, I wouldn't like it. I'm like, man, I just don't. Maybe it was just a hobby. People would ask, my uncle be like, you still rap? I'm like, no, I turned in my mic a long time ago. I dusted that off. That was just a phase. I was calling it a phase,
right, and
stuff like that. So, but when I exited the relationship, all my creative energy came back. I wrote a song within a week, and then I had wrote within 2 months. I had wrote within 3 months, I wrote basically my whole EP and more. Like I wrote about 13 songs.
Well, you probably had a lot to write about.
Right. Yeah, I did have more content.
You have to get that energy out.
Right.
That's what it's about. So you've got this new EP that you got out called D.O.A.P.
Yeah, D.O.A.P. EP.
It's D.O.A.P.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's that stand for?
So the D.O.A.P. is the Diary of a Pothead.
Okay.
Which is an idea I actually started. Like one of the last videos I posted to my YouTube before I went away for 4 years was the Diary of a Pothead freestyle.
Before we go on, what's your YouTube channel?
YouTube channel is ReeCee World.
Okay.
So it's more than just raps.
Okay.
It's ReeCee World. So it's raps, vegan recipes, it's
everything
reviews,
you do.
The whole world of ReeCee. So it's
great.
more than just raps. And I feel like I know that I can help people in many different ways. And some people not everybody is going to connect with you through music. Some people are I do ReeCee rants, where I rant about some stuff.
I've caught your stuff on Facebook. You go.
So some people that will never react to any of my other stuff, but they'll react to a ReeCee rant. So they may not, I'm not speaking to them on the music, but I may speak to them if it's direct or if it's something else. Some people react better with comedy. It just, it's your duty in a way to kind of, if you have all these different skills and all these different outlets that in mediums, you can get your message across and do that.
Okay.
Because you're going to reach different people, and then it all comes together under the ReeCee World umbrella.
All right. So when did you start doing this EP? When did this start?
So it started when I moved to Charlotte. I want to say February 2018. So I moved to Charlotte last year, and I dropped the EP in July of last year. No, I dropped the EP in July of this year. So it started
2019.
Yeah, so it was my music was done for a while. A lot of it was done. I'm probably happy I wrote end of last year. So a lot of it was done, and I was just kind of I'm a perfectionist in a way, and I'm like, I'm waiting on this to drop it. I'm waiting on that. I wasn't even knowing if I was gonna drop it, but what really helped me with that decision is that it's not mine to hoard. Is how I look at it.
Right.
So it's something that is instilled in me, and it was a gift that has been given to me, and I love all the logistics and all the business part of it and how you get a schedule and all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when it comes to real life and what really matters, you're making something that can help somebody go through something or cope with something. So even if you're not reaching a lot, even if it's not the impact that it could be if you made sure everything was checked, but there's still people that tell me, yo, I listened to the Shacks of the Happiness over and over, had me about to cry and stuff like that. But if I just hoarded it and just didn't put it out, I'm helping people every day. So it took for me, I talked to DJ Chuck T. He's like, just drop it. Just drop the stuff. If you want to wait on it, if you want to remix it, do it, take it down and put it back up. But just drop it, and keep dropping stuff. So looking at that approach rather than just hoarding my music.
Well, speaking of which, let's drop it. Let's put out that. Let's take a listen to Diary of a Pothead.
I get high, so I don't feel the lows on this roller coaster ride that we call life. And I get high, so I don't feel the lows on this roller coaster ride that we call life. I'm hot like the Sahara in the middle of the summer, and yes, I am aware that makes me dumber. It's a bummer. Every time I attempt to recite the thoughts running through my mind, I realize that I'm and I can form real intricate ideas, but down me and once a week, was my mind clear? I probably had $1 billion thoughts by myself in the dark, then consequently begot because of the that I had sparked. My mind's a work of art, but how's a girl to show it when her brain is being picked apart and she don't even know it? She has so much potential and was about not to blow it, so she's picking up her pencil and jotting down every moment, observing every session, she's studying every segment until the rare occurrence she finally learns the lesson. Tries to restrain the anger and contain all the aggression by recognizing the devil and thanking God for his blessing. So I don't feel the lows on this roller coaster ride that we call life, and I get high. So I don't feel the lows on this roller coaster ride that we call life. Picking battles with the pettiest of topics. This voice is yelling stop, but she can't realize it's her conscience. Her mind, she's lost it, it's in another dimension. So please be cautious if you got any intentions, cause she tries to resist, no cries to help, she's content. Avoiding conflict, so she don't wanna commit. Thoughts in suspense, keeps telling God she repents. Can only grasp a concept in a logical sense. It's hard to admit that she ain't perfect, constantly feeling worthless, begging God to find her purpose. Devil's whispers reach the surface, and she's hurting. Things coming down on her like boulders, got hell tugging at her feet with the rules weight up on her shoulders. Wondering if it's over as the nightmare's repeated. Searching for closure, she's already seeing that she's defeated. Struggles to fight her demons, climbing up into heaven, but yo, she's angling from his string and engulfed in flames at the end. I get high, so I don't feel the low.
That's an awesome track, ReeCee. So fill me in. What's your songwriting process? Because you do the rapping part, and you're the wordsmith, as it were. Who's helping you with the music portion? Is that you, or you coming up with that on your own? Do you have a co-writer?
You mean when you say music portion, you mean the production? Or
I mean all the beats, all the musical portion of what you're rapping over.
Yeah, so I don't write with anybody.
Okay.
I'm writing all the melodies. Is like I'm writing everything. Even if on this EP, if you hear me not singing something like Happy Right Now or Free, I still wrote that. You know, I still wrote the whole melody, and they just, that's awesome. It was like a work for hire. You sing this how I want it to be sung, and they Charnel, who's on those songs, she transforms it. But it's usually just me by myself, you know, writing. Producer is K-Fix. I'm inspired by the beats to write, so usually it starts with a beat. Diary of a Pie is a little different case because all the verses were all one thing. So one of my last videos I posted when I was 19 was me rapping that whole rap.
Wow.
And it was all one thing. And that's why at the end I repeat myself, because I didn't have enough to fill in on that third verse. And so instead of changing the original lyrics, I just repeated myself at the end. And I had just wrote a chorus, and I was like, I had wrote the I get high so I don't feel the lows. And I was like, what if I put this rap, you know, in with this chorus, you know? So that was kind of like, so that song was like, the verse is like 5 years old. And then like the chorus is what I wrote in like April last year. So, and I was like, I really got something with this one, just as far as how catchy it is, you know, it's just really.
It is a catchy tune.
Yeah, I was really proud of that one. So a lot of it for me is being inspired by beats, different sounds. I really like jazzy type beats. I like beats that a band could come in and play like easily, because not every rap beat is like is suited for a band, but like if you use a lot of instrumentation already, it just works out.
Yeah, speaking of which, I haven't gotten to see you live. I've caught some video of you playing. So you bring live musicians with you. You're not rapping to a backing track somewhere. You've got a live band with you.
It really depends on the show. So like if y'all have me coming out for like a 10-minute set, I'm really not gonna bring the band. You might see me on a backing track, not gonna lie. Right. But if it's like, you know, 20-30 minute set or like a festival, something like that, you know, it was festival season, so we were doing a lot of shows, Speed Street, Vegan Festival, stuff like that. So to where we did a few shows with Ryan. Shout out to Ryan Williams, Crown Town Get Down.
That's how I met you, like Ryan Williams. Yeah,
shout out to him. So it really depends on what it is. But yeah, if it's anything at longer than 10 minutes, yeah, the band is there. But if it's 10 minutes, you got me coming out to do one song or something. I mean, I did do City Fest with the band, and that was a short set, but it's just a lot for a little bit of time. So yeah, it just depends. But for the actual shows and for the stuff that I put together, the band is there.
Cool. All right, let's take a listen to another track. That's Happy Right Now.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I'm happy. Sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes I'm grateful for the life that I have had. Yeah. I'm only human. I make mistakes. Sometimes it's hard to separate the real from fake. Yeah.
I'm with frustration meets creation. My dreams linger in my mind, they tailgating. It is no mistaken, I'm where I'm meant to be. My mind, body, soul goes into this, my whole entity. And I'm suffering through all my lyrics, can you hear it? I'm working all the time, they ask me why I'm so serious. I got the kind of drive to make it fast like I'm furious. I gotta hit the gas, I don't care if it's perilous. I'm the type to look Medusa in her eyes. I put the pudding in the proof, at least I can say that I tried. And no chicken noodles, chicken healer salsa with Geronimo. When I drown the flock, you must tune into my chronicles.
I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes I'm disappointed in the life I've had. I'm only human, I make mistakes. Sometimes it's hard to separate the real from fake.
All right, this is another awesome track. Can you fill me in about this one?
Thank you. So this was one of the later batch of songs, because I had a batch of songs I wrote when I had first moved here, and then I was out grinding so much because I performed like over 100 times within a 4 months span out here in Charlotte, because I had just started performing last year too. Wow. So
you wouldn't know it seeing your video and you up there rapping and stuff.
Yeah, and it took for me to really just like go out there and stop being scared to do stuff. And
takes a while to get comfortable on stage, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that's, I felt like I was so late to it because I had started when I was like 19 and I took those 4 years off. So that's why I performed so much. I was performing every day because I'm like, I don't need to look like I'm a rookie out here if I'm going to be a rookie. But a part of me, I was in a lip syncing group when I was a kid with my granddad. He's the one who gave me my name, ReeCee. And so I used to lip sync as a kid, and that's the only experience I had performing. We used to do like Patti LaBelle song. I used to do Patti LaBelle songs, Alvin and the Chipmunks. I was Alvin. We used to do like everything, like, and people would really think we were out here singing how good we were at lip syncing. And it was called the Unspeakables. That was a group. We used to go all around Pittsburgh, churches, nursing homes, and I eventually I was like, yo, I need to start getting paid for this like everybody else. My granddad started paying me. That was my first job, really. Wow. So I feel like he instilled that entertainer part of me. So yeah, I went out there and did that. But Happy Right Now was I'm kind of burnt out a little bit from like this whole music thing. It's like a love-hate relationship. Like
it's a lot of work.
It is a lot. And it's a lot of moving and feeling like you're not making no progress, even though you are. You just be feeling like, man, like, what am I doing this all for? So Happy Right Now came from a point of I'm where frustration meets creation. That's where that was. I was frustrated, kind of like, man, like this is gonna take a little bit longer to pop than what I thought. So
it's a long haul kind of thing.
It is. It's a marathon. Yeah. It's a marathon. And absolutely. And I was like sprinting. I was sprinting in the marathon. So that's why I got so burnt out, because I was sprinting by the amount of performances I'm doing, but without making sure everything was good on the back end. Right. So it was just like, the Happy came from a point of frustration, and I wrote a song to vent. And then it was like, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad. It's like just like like the roller coaster I talk about in the Diary of a Piehead. It's a roller coaster ride. So it was just like a point where I just was venting, and it became a beautiful song that I was happy right now. That's why at the end I'm like, I'm happy right now. Or that's what I wrote out. Charnel sings it, but it's because I was happy in that moment of creating. It's like, okay, so I'm happy right now, but when all the other stuff happened, sometimes it'd be frustrating me.
So I got a question for you. I sing and play acoustic guitar, so I can go out to breweries and play. What's the performance scene like for rappers? How do you get out there to do performances?
See, a lot of it for rappers, like if you're looking at, like if we're talking in Charlotte, because I really, as being on the ground level and actually being out here, I've only been in Charlotte pursuing music,
and that's fine. Yeah, that's the scene we're talking about,
right? So that's all I can speak on. But I will say the rappers around here, a lot of times it's like the performance opportunities are a lot of times, I don't want to say dead end streets, but it just be like you're performing. A lot of times it's for other artists, or you have to pay to play, pay to perform. So unless you already on a level, like unless you already got a big name for yourself, it's kind of non-existent. You're not just gonna get paid to perform somewhere. It just doesn't happen unless you got a name for yourself, and that's overstandable in that sense. But when it comes to like being a rapper out here, a lot of it you'll be at a club, and part of it for me, the type of rap that I do, I realized wasn't fitting the scenes I was at, you know. So the type of rap that I do is not, there's not a lot. I don't make club records for the most part. I really don't. So me performing at clubs every night might not really gain me any fans. I mean, I get a lot of respect regardless of where I'm at, and I mean my name is getting out there, so that's the good part. You're getting your name out there. That's what it's about, to get that buzz generated about you. So I was able to get a buzz generated by hitting up all these different spots. But it's kind of like my producer said before, he said, you a hamster in a wheel. And I was like, so I had to kind of draw back. Being a rapper in Charlotte, you kind of got to create your own opportunities, is how I see it. Right. I see it like you got to create the shows where people are coming out. So you getting on the door, you getting like, you know, you got to create those opportunities, because they're not just going to get handed to you. You can't just go to a brewery and do a rap set and they just paying you for entertainment. It's different for like singers and instrumentalists to do a gig, because anybody's going to listen to a singer or instrumentalist, but not everybody's going to sit there and listen to somebody rap, because you actually have to listen. So unless you do meaningless rap, which wouldn't fit that venue anyway. So
it's not a rap cover artist, right? You know, I can go around and I can play classic rock covers for 3 hours, but you're not seeing some rapper out there going out and going, yeah, I don't write my own stuff. I'm a rap cover artist, and I cover, you know, LL Cool J and a whole series of rappers, you know? Seriously,
yeah. And the people would look at you like you're so stupid if you did that. They'd be like, who is this fool out here?
It's just not that genre.
Right. It's really not. So it makes it for us to, as rappers, the approach may not be to go out and perform. We gotta make stuff pop on the back end, you know. So we are creating the demand to be to where people want to see us perform and everything, and a lot of that comes with scarcity as well, to not be performing everywhere. I had to stop, like, because it's like I can see you on Tuesday at Mooney's, and I can see you on Wednesday at Red's, and Thursday at this place. Why would I pay $5 or $10 to come see you at the Crown Town Get Down when I just seen you all week? Or you know, it's just like you gotta create a certain type of I was too available is how I seen it. I was very available everywhere. But what I'm doing too to change the scene of Charlotte to where there's more opportunities for rappers, I host an open mic now. You know,
where's that at?
It's at Bergerum and University.
Okay, when is that?
Every Friday.
What time can we?
It's 9 to 1 every Friday. So, and on the last Friday every month, we have the band there. Okay. So, it's about more people doing that, creating. There's really no open mics on Fridays. You know, I haven't seen it. Let me know if y'all find one, but that's the only open mic on Friday.
Well, that's primarily the nights that people perform.
Right,
you know?
right.
They've got open mics on Mondays and Wednesdays
not
and Tuesdays.
Rappers.
Not rappers, but prime time opportunities for most bands are Friday and Saturday night live music stuff. So if you're doing something original, you know, creating your own rap scene there, that's fantastic.
Right, because we know rappers is going out and partying on Fridays, and so we don't got gigs unless we'll have a show though. We'll have every once in a while, but it's not every Friday to where there's something to do. But Yeah, so it's about doing that. It's about creating more vibes. I'm putting together showcases and shows and different stuff to where I'm creating the scene I want to see, because Charlotte is a developing scene, but that means that you can develop it, you know, so you can have your own input and you could create what you want to see.
All right, cool. Now, speaking of performing, I don't want to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up anyway just because I'm daring like that. So you had a negative opportunity.
Hey, if you look at it like that, I look at it as a positive.
All right, it was a positive
learning experience.
Positive learning experience. How is it? So some time ago, you had an opportunity. You headed out to California. Can you fill us in on what happened with this with this opportunity?
Yeah. So this was over.
It's like
the
a
summer.
public service announcement,
right? Seriously. So this was in July. I want to say June. So this is in June. It was BET Awards weekend, because I like to travel. Well, I've been traveling a lot this year, you know, performing, traveling, getting my name out there. Like, I just started on Instagram last year. You know, all my followers are pretty much people that have met me. Like, people that are actually, and my following was growing like 1,000 followers per month. Like, just because I've really been out here meeting all these people. Like, so, or performing, or somebody knew somebody that, so these are real people. So this is over the summer, and I like to be places when stuff is going on to heighten my opportunity. So I was like, I'm gonna be in LA during BET Awards weekend, just like I went to Coachella, and I was out there. There's certain people you're gonna run into that you're not gonna run into on regular time. So if you're gonna travel, you might as well travel while something's going on. So that's in your that's in your field, and then you're really working. I look at it as work, not just travel. So I was like, I'm gonna be out there, you know. And then Mare from Raleigh, she works at a radio station up there. She actually does a lot of showcases in the Carolinas. Okay. And it's Carolina Waves, if y'all want to look her up. She Mare is the radio personality out there. So she was like, if you're going to be out there, I can get you hooked up with this party, this radio room, private party, where all the radio stations in the country are there, and the celebrities just go around and do drops for all of them at once. So this is like exclusive party. She said, yeah, most of my pics with celebs are from that party. Great, bet. I'm like, yo, I'm going to be there. You know? Bought my ticket, had my ticket. The party was on Friday. I had my ticket from Thursday to Sunday. Then maybe like 3 weeks before I was supposed to go, someone hits me up like, yo, we got this music conference. I'm like, yeah, I seen that. I'm gonna be out of town, you know. We want to see if you can open up for Lil Nas X. He's gonna be there, and they just want to see if we would open up for them. And I'm like, it was a big decision in my life. Right. I'm like, all right, to go to BET Awards weekend and go to this radio room party, Lil Nas, or do both. How am I going to do it? I don't know. And ultimately, I asked a couple of the wrong people, and I ultimately decided to do the Lil Nas X thing, because in my head, I thought I was doing going all these places and just networking and not even performing. Like last time I went for Coachella, I didn't perform anything, but I went out there, and I'm like, one aspect, I'm like, this is networking, and the other aspect, I'm like, this is me actually performing and being able to add to my resume about I performed, I opened up for this person. But in reality, the networking is more valuable than the performance opening up for that person, because that comes and goes, and you still need them relationships. Networking is building priceless relationships, but that's the point of the lesson, you know. So I didn't know that.
But the Lil Nas thing was supposed to be happening here in Charlotte?
Yeah, so the Lil Nas thing is in Charlotte. Right. So I'm like, man, why did y'all have to do it this weekend? Why couldn't it just all work out? Right. So I decided to stay in Charlotte, forfeit my ticket, you know, non-refundable ticket. Forfeit my ticket there and stay in Charlotte for the Lil Nas X thing. I'm promoting for this show. I'm like, yo, it's huge. I get my whole band out, singer out, you know, whatever.
Hired the band out. All right.
Right, exactly. So we're there that whole day, you know, for this conference and stuff like that. And they kept asking me, when you want to go on? I'm like, right before Lil Nas X, like you keep saying, right before Lil Nas. They talking, they keep asking me when I want to go on. I'm like, right before him. Where is not he? Here yet? Where he at? Next thing you know, they get on a mic and I'm in the crowd just like everybody else, waiting on Lil Nas, right? And they get on a mic yeah, burning bridges is never good in the industry. It's unprofessional. I'm like, wait, so he's not coming? Like, they didn't come to me. They was just like they was coming to me and asking me when I wanted to go on. They didn't come to me and tell me he's not coming. I find out the same time the whole crowd finds out.
Oh, that's awful.
Right. Awful. So, of course, everybody leaves or starts to leave. Like, most people leave.
Because that's why they came.
Right. Most people leave. So, I'm like, man, y'all could have at least waited till we perform. If that's the case, or at least y'all was going to have to tell us regardless. So why not tell us before you tell the whole crowd, regardless of, and I can only speak on what I know. So people are like, was Lil Nas X even supposed to be there to begin with? Was he really booked? He didn't post it. He didn't repost it or nothing like that. So I don't know. They claim he was, but if I didn't see really any promo on his end at all. I just seen his picture on the flyer.
Was the event promoted with him supposed to be there?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing. Like, that's how they were promoting it for the last month. Like, wow. And also Trap Money Benny actually did show up. Trap Money Benny is the one who produced Drake's song Nice for What, or not Nice for What, but Drake's In My Feelings or something like that. So Trap Money Benny is like this little white dude. He doesn't sound like that's his name, but like he showed up and they're like, oh, you see Trap Money Benny showed up, but Lil Nas, the boy that, all I can speak on is that y'all knew Lil Nas wasn't going to be there before I knew Lil Nas wasn't going to be there. Secondly, I went on Lil Nas' picture, and from 12 hours ago, one of the people, the organizer of the events, commented like, Lil Nas, where you at? You supposed to be here with the kids on the picture 12 hours ago. So I'm like, before the conference even started, you probably knew Lil Nas X wasn't going to be there. It was just like, so I don't know if he pulled out a week before. I don't know if he pulled out, but anything, all I can speak on is that my first mistake, or it's not a mistake because it's a lesson, was I should have just went with what I already had. My dad always say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I already had that set up. Should have just went with what I already had. I should have recognized that, for one, networking is priceless. That room is priceless compared to opening up for Lil Nas. Yep. To where that decision couldn't even be made. I should have been in LA like, dodge the bullet there. Kicker, here's the kicker. Lil Nas was taking pictures with Mir that invited me to the party. He was at the party.
Oh my gosh.
He was at the party I was supposed to be at during drops in the radio room. Because that should have been a red flag too. Because everything I realized, every time somebody lies to me about something, or every time something don't add up, I always question it in my head and then I throw it out. I always question it, and I'm like, man, why would Lil Nas not want to be at this party just like me? Why would Lil Nas not want to be at, how are y'all getting Lil Nas on BET Awards weekend when he's performing at the BET Awards? Like, those should have all been red flags. Like, how do y'all get Lil Nas on the one, that didn't even, it didn't make sense. It didn't, but I just like, they seem like trustworthy people. If they got them, they got them, but
if you get that feeling, go with it. I mean, if I get a feeling in my pit of my stomach, and I'm always right. Like, there's something in my stomach, and I'm like, something ain't right. And it usually turns out. Right. It ain't right.
It don't make sense. Like, it didn't make sense. It didn't add up. I'm like, so wait. This is his first BET Awards. He just made it out. He's a new artist, He just went viral off
Why is he not going to show up?
Right. It was just like weird. So even if they did book him, I mean, he probably was all in the festivities. Like, I'm not leaving this for that. I'm sorry. My gosh. But whether or not they booked him isn't the thing, because I can't speak on that. Some people say, no, he wasn't booked. Some people's like, no, everybody be saying no, he's not booked. But in my head, I'm like, I can't put that. All I'm saying is what I know is that y'all dragged it out the whole day. I did more embarrassing stuff the day of, posting videos like, I'm so excited to go before the day. And that was one of the most embarrassing things for me to post that to social media after I've been promoting this. And I was going heavy on promotion the day of and an overdrive after I talked to them. So it was just like, y'all knew this the whole time. I could have at least stepped back on all my extra embarrassing promotion.
Yeah.
Like, I made a whole video about sacrifices. I said, some of y'all see me performing for Lil Nas X. You don't see the sacrifice we put behind this. I'm supposed to be in LA this weekend. I made a whole video about that. And it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, but the way I did it is I just laid it all out there. I posted it. Oh, and not to mention, it gets worse, folks. So not only that, they announced it after they announced it after like half the people go, most of the people, I'll say 75% of the people leave. I could have at least had a primetime slot if y'all would have told me. Could have made sure y'all got me in there. And then they're like, what, you want to have an hour set? I'm supposed to have a 30-minute set. What, you want to have an hour set? Whatever. So they offered me an hour set. Now you can have his time too. After everybody's gone. And then they cut me off after 3.5 songs in the middle of my song. Oh. Cut my mic off.
That's horrible.
So, yeah.
This is a clean podcast, so that's bleep horrible.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so it gets worse. So not to mention everything else, they cut my mic off. I've only had my mic cut off twice in my life. But yeah, so what I posted to social media was a video of me throwing the mic down and keep rapping with the whole caption like, the word of the day yesterday was sacrifices. Let's talk about everything I sacrificed. And then I put all the prices of the plane tickets I sacrificed and the time and the band rehearsals and everything like that. And I said, doing all this for Lil Nas not to show up, priceless. Priceless lessons right there. So I ended up buying another ticket and going out to LA for that. I stayed for like 3 days. I ended up going because I'm like, man, if I don't go to LA this weekend, I'm gonna just die or something. Right?
Enjoyed yourself anyway.
Right. So I went and I did make some connections for what it's worth. I felt like I talked to, anytime I go somewhere, I talk to who I need to talk to. People gave me words of encouragement and different stuff. I was coming off of a low after that. And it was just so embarrassing. Yeah. But I got over it. People was like, oh, that's messed up. But I know the haters was probably happy. But, it's all good. But you just live and you learn.
You got to just pick yourself up. All right, it was an awful experience. And all right, I'm going to learn from that. And that ain't happening again.
Yeah, that was Making the Right Moves conference, by the way. Shout out to Mr. Slangology for that opportunity, for that learning experience. I appreciate it.
So even though you had a poor experience, you do have some wonderful stuff happening right now, don't you?
Yeah. So it's I'm always be blessed. Is how I look at it. I like to think I'm favored. So right now,
what you got coming up? Because there's some good stuff coming up.
Yes, we got corresponding with what's happening in CLT. So what's happening in CLT is a new events page for Charlotte. So they awesome. Post like they posted an open mic calendar directory with all the different open mics because as an artist, it's hard to kind of see what's going on. I had to really do the groundwork to even find out what's going on, when it's going on. You can't just Google it a lot of times. It doesn't work that way. So like, especially we got what they say, like 44 new people moving to Charlotte every day. Yeah. So with that is going to come people looking for what to do. So what's happening in CLT is basically the voice of the Charlotte events. And if you're looking in for something to do, go to that page. It's what's happening. We dropped the G off of happening. CLT, and they're incorporating more things in the future, so they're going to have me on covering events, getting interviews and stuff like that. Right. I'm going to be the Charlotte rep, and eventually what's happening is going to be nationwide, and they'll have reps in every city letting you know what's happening. So yeah,
awesome. So
that's that. Got a really dope event coming up December 21st at Oso Skate Park. So it's a really dope venue, colorful venue, artsy venue, and it's a skate park. So make sure y'all reach out to me or just reach out to me at this point if you want to be a part of that. So ReeCee World, everything ReeCee World. Y'all could also find me at ReeCee Raps. If you want to find the rapping part of me, that's ReeCee Raps. You'll find that. So ReeCee World at Gmail, ReeCee World on social media, YouTube. But what that event is going towards, it's going to be an event with skateboarders. We have producers, DJs, artists, ciphers, live paintings, so if you have anything to do with art, or if you love art, definitely you need to be there. If you love skateboarding, you need to be there. We're gonna have a silent auctioning off paintings and stuff like that, raffles. So it's gonna be a dope event, December 21st. We're finalizing the time, so just make sure you keep up with me and everything. We should definitely have that in the next week or so.
Okay,
but
follow ReeCee on Facebook and follow YouTube. And
yes, and shoot me a message. And all the proceeds are going towards Miss Bunny's cause. Miss Bunny is a really dope event curator here in Charlotte. Has been out here on the scene. So she's been raising money for a little bit longer than it should be. We should have reached this goal. And so we're going to help her reach this goal of bringing a mobile art gallery to lower income neighborhoods that may not have that opportunity to go view art, and that's very important for our youth and everything. Absolutely. To see that. So she needs about $12,000 to reach her goal. So she's been throwing various events over, I think it's been like about 2 years. She's been raising this money for this mobile art gallery. So I recently asked, like, how long has it been? Because it's been a year since I found out about it. One of my first shows was at Petra's, and they do something there on Mondays where they raise money for this art gallery every third Monday of the month. But we really need this. There's a lot of money going towards a lot less. It's not a lot to reach that goal. Sure. So definitely come out, donate, buy paintings, and just put it towards that cause. And also part of the proceeds are going towards domestic violence. This is a cause that is close to your heart, and you want to help it. Yeah. Right. And we definitely want to speak on that during the event. Like, you got to see the signs and stuff of controlling behavior. It's really easy to spot. So it's informative as well. It's not just going to be a fundraiser for it. We're talking about domestic violence, giving information out to folks who might be in a situation, or even look out for what a situation might look like. Exactly. So it's all about, talking about it, spreading awareness and everything. So we got to keep it a topic. So I'm really excited about that event, December 21st. I'm working with some people on that. And really just the ReeCee World YouTube channel is going through a whole transformation. So really the changing from ReeCee Raps to ReeCee World. Okay. And also putting out the different content. Right. Doing some rebranding, putting out different content. I don't want to limit myself to just raps. Right. Because even then I don't just rap too. I sing a little bit too. So even then, to that aspect, I'm not limited to just music. I have a personality. I do a lot of stuff. So just rebranding, be looking out for ReeCee World merchandise, different lyrics on shirts and stuff like that. Definitely check out my website, ReeCeeWorld.com. And that's pretty much it. We got the What's Happening page. Make sure y'all follow that. ReeCee World page. Make sure you follow that. ReeCee Raps. If you want to follow her too. We'll put all that cool in the show notes for you. There's a lot going on with you. Right. And you just got to kind of keep moving. Also a new project early next year. Okay. So I'm excited about this because a lot of this year I've been waiting on people to record. So really what I'm doing, I didn't realize, like, one things I took when I moved was my iPad. I had just won it at work. I had just won it a month ago before I left Kansas City. And they give out prizes and stuff like that. So I won an iPad, and one of the big ones. And I was like, I didn't realize that iPad is a studio. Yeah. They have apps on there. They have all different types of stuff to where you can record straight from your iPad. So I'm dropping a mixtape, an iPad recording mixtape, and on YouTube Beats. Called YouTube Beats. Fantastic. And it's just like a little something. It's just me putting out my art, no judgment. It's just my art created by me. I mean, mixed independently, but recorded by me. Yeah. Just to put out some music that no judgment. It's going to be dope music, but it's just YouTube beats. So
All right, cool.
I'm excited about that.
Looking forward to it. When's that going to drop? Just sometime
it's going to be in the before March. Probably looking at about March next year. Right. So
springtime coming up.
Yeah, definitely. It's about to be heating up. So definitely look for that. A lot of rebranding and just more focused content on all you guys, not just people who like raps.
There we go. All right, cool, ReeCee. Well, thank you for coming out today, and we are going to keep up with you and everything you got going on.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you so much, and y'all have a good one.
All right, thanks. And that will bring episode 28 of the Queen City Music Podcast to a close. If you are a musician or otherwise involved in the music scene here in our fair city and would like to be a guest on the QCMP, reach out to me at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Plus, if you like listening to the QCMP, please let someone else know about it. Also, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite listening app and leave us a review on iTunes. Until next month, get out there and support your local music scene by heading out to hear some of the extremely talented folks who make up the Charlotte music community. Bye.